Hi, I'm Mike from 1A Auto. We've been selling auto parts for over 30 years.
In this video, we will be removing and reinstalling a coolant reservoir in a 2016 Ram 1500 pickup. If you need parts for your vehicle, click the link in the description and head over to 1aauto.com. We're gonna open the hood right under your steering wheel. This little lever pops the hood. The hood safety latch is right here. You're gonna pull it to the left, pull up. We're gonna pull this panel off. There's some clips. You're gonna use a clip tool to get underneath here. There's one over here too. It's easier if you go under it and pry up on it. You could go underneath the clip and pry, but sometimes you break the clip. So we'll just go underneath it, pry up. That up, and then we'll just pull this off and pull it out of the way. We're going to take these 4 bolts out right here. They're 10 millimeters. We use a 10 millimeter socket and a ratchet. So down here, there's a clip that holds it in. I'm going to use a flat blade screwdriver. These clips sometimes break, so just be careful. Just pop it out like that. And there's another clip further down. You can't see it. And then on the other side is the same. Clip right there. Pull that out. Then we're going to use some trim tools. We actually sell these at 1aauto.com. We're going to go under here. You want to be careful not to scratch the paint. But there is some retainers under here. And I'll show you these better once the grill is out. Okay, right there. Up, and then we're gonna grab on the grill and pull forward. Release that one. There's one over here as well. And then there's also one in the middle. And then there's one more in the middle there. And the whole grill comes up. We're gonna pull this hood latch cable wire out of the way. There's 2 13 millimeter bolts right here and right here. I'm gonna use a 13 millimeter socket, an extension, and a ratchet. Take these out. Once you get it loose, you can do it by hand. Pull those up. Underneath here, there's some 10 millimeter bolts. I'm going to use a 10 millimeter bolt and a universal and a extension and a ratchet. Take these bolts out. Pull those out. Now this is the last one. When we pull this one out, we're going to want to hold this up a little bit so it doesn't fall. Pull that out. So there's some rubber panels right here. We're just going to pull those out of the way. Right here. Flip it down. There's a wiring harness right here. Pull it up right here. There's a little wiring connector here. There's a lock. You can pull up on the lock. Like that. I used a 90-degree pick. You could probably use a screwdriver. Oh, it's gonna come up a little bit more. Oh, and then you can push down on this little lock here for the harness connector and then pull it off. And then the active grill will come out. We can pull this hose off right here. I'm going to use a 90-degree pick. Just get underneath here just to break the seal of the hose and go all the way around while I'm pulling the hose up. And that pulls up. A little bit of coolant dripped out. That's okay. Pull that, move that aside. Just put it over here. I'm going to take this 10mm bolt out. I'm going to use a 10mm socket, a universal, and an extension. Pull that bolt out. I have another bolt right here. Just going to use the 10mm and the extension and the ratchet. I'll just take it out by hand while I'm holding up on the reservoir. And I'll just be able to lift the reservoir up. And there's a wiring harness that is clipped into the back. We'll just pull that wiring harness out, and now comes the reservoir. Okay, we're going to reinstall, line it up back there, and then take this harness and we're going to push it into the back of the tank. Then there's these clips over here. Those are going to line into those holes, little tabs. Get the holes lined up over here. Take our 10mm bolt, get that started. Before I tighten that down, I'm going to put the bottom one in. Get that one started. Be careful, it's plastic, so just a little bit snug. I'll use my universal and my 10mm socket, extension and ratchet, and tighten this one down. Snug. Then I can route my hose back through here. Back here, oops, dripping a little coolant. Push that on and then push that back in the groove. I'll reinstall our active grill. Take the wiring harness, plug it in, then push down on the lock tab, push down on the red lock to lock it in. We're going to line these rubber pieces up in there. Fish those in through. Just like that. Push down on the red lock to lock it in. We're gonna line these rubber pieces up in there. Fish those in through. Just like that. I'm gonna start with the 13mm bolts. Just get it started by hand. And the other 13mm bolt. Get these 10mm in. Line that up down below. Before I tighten that one, I'm going to put the last one in. So everything lines up. Now that all the bolts are in, I can snug them down. Snug it down, and snug this one down. Tighten these 13mm bolts. And snug it down. Remember, it's plastic. You don't want to tighten these too much. Snug. So the cable, I'm going to push the cable back into that retainer. I'm going to put this on. Keep in mind to keep this up, that little rubber piece, and line those up. I'm going to line these lock tabs with those holes. If you get it lined up top, you can push in the bottom and it should lock in. So we have these 4 10mm bolts that are going back in. These ones are going to go into the plastic, the ones that look more aggressive than the tighter threads. Those will go right there. And then these other ones are going to go in the center into the metal frame. So we'll start all those first. We'll tighten these down with our 10mm socket and extension and ratchet. Tighten it snug. And the last one. So we're going to put this cover on. Get all the holes lined up for the push pins. Push those in. And then right there.
Thanks for watching. Visit us at oneauto.com for quality auto parts, fast and free shipping, and the best customer service in the industry.